Howdy.
Howdy.
Swafford Homestead. Relaxing on the couch.
Still a little steamy outside. Supposed to rain. The rain went around us. It's like, feels like the 80s outside, I think, what the weather station said. It's in the 70s, but it says it feels like 89 outside. It's sad we sit in here.
Yeah, we've rearranged our couch. We have one of these big, what do you call it, sectionals? We have a big, giant sectional sofa in a very small living room.
House.
And
the couch is big as the house, or big as the living room is.
Pretty much.
But it's nice.
Yesterday we kept our grandson, and we usually make a pallet on the floor for him to play on. And I told Brett, I said, we ought to slide that other piece over here because we had it separated away and just had a little L shape of the sectional. I told him, I said, you want to slide the other section over here and we make a giant playpen for the baby to play on. So we put the sections together, and
it's the size of a queen size bed.
It's about the size of a queen size bed. I haven't removed the sectional, so I'm kind of kicked back and relaxing because this is like a monster. Y'all can't see, but there's a monster couch I'm stretched out on right now. It is huge. I love it.
I've got the little wore out section.
Yeah, he's got the section I normally sit on. That's why you look like you're sitting in the hole.
It's like a recliner. It's wore out.
Well, I'm starting to sit on this little section right here. You know, it's the two sections that never get sit on because they're in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the feet are all that's ever on it. So I'm kind of going between these two sections right now. I've enjoyed it. I mean, it really makes the living room look small because it's so huge.
But the grandson loved it.
Oh.
That's the longest he's ever played since he'd come in and seen us.
Normally, we have to pass him back and forth all day. Because he wants one of us, well, he only wants me when he's tired. He'll play with me for a little bit, but the most part, he just wants to sleep with. I'm the sleeper. I lay down with him and then sleep.
You're the Sandman.
I'm the person he goes to for the nap. Pappy, on the other hand here, he's the horse. Got tickled the other night when we was keeping him, not yesterday, but a few days ago. We was watching him, and Brett, I had a headache. I had a migraine. I was I finally I laid down with Lincoln for a nap, and I couldn't get back up. My head was so jacked up, I couldn't get back up. So Brett was walking him around and taking care of him, and he'd walk him into the bedroom, and he'd look at me, and then he said every time he walked towards the kitchen, Lincoln would start gabbling like he was riding a horse. And he'd bring him in there, and Brett would turn to leave the bedroom door, and Lincoln would just start like jerking him.
His hands and his legs. He looked like he was riding a horse.
He did. He looked like he was riding a horse. I just looked at him and said, "Giddy up, Pappy, giddy up."
If he went the wrong way, he would lean the opposite way. I'd done it intentionally to see if he'd do it.
He leaned in the direction he wanted to go.
And he'd gallop.
He's 6 months old, and he's telling us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
He just wanted to go to the kitchen and stand over the sink. I don't know what the sink holds for him, but he wants to stand on the countertop and look down at the sink.
Maybe I can teach him to wash dishes.
It's a hard enough thing for me or you.
I know. I hate washing dishes. Oh, I hate it with a passion.
I had jobs as a teenager washing dishes for 8 hours at a time. I really don't care much about it either.
I
watched more dishes than I ever wanted to see.
I hated washing dishes when I was growing up because that was mine and my sister's job. We loved when my brother got grounded because he would be put on. That was his mom and dad. He got in trouble, got grounded. He had dish duty. Me and my sister was like, yay! No dish. How long was he grounded? A week. Yes, we're off dish duty for a week. Yeah, it's funny, but that was what we had to do. And then I worked at the hospital. Oh, you have not washed a dish until you have washed a dish in a hospital. Because they don't care what they leave on those trays. Mm-mm. Not at all. And it can get pretty gross. But
I washed dishes for a restaurant down on the interstate. Yeah, they didn't care what they left on a dish either. The worst thing you could leave on a dish for me was they served some kind of a Mexican meals, and somebody would always grind their cigarette out in it, right in the middle of what looked like maybe guacamole, or they grind that cigarette down in it, and when you hit it with hot water, that's what you smelt.
Yeah. Wet cigarette. Oh.
I washed hundreds or thousands probably out, but wiped them out, washed them out.
It's so funny. It's what, the 15th of August, so we're halfway through August and still putting up green beans.
Yes, green beans will still grow in very hot weather. Our high temp on our weather channel, or our weather station over here in the corner, says we hit 100 this week.
It was 112 the other. What was it, last
I'm
week?
talking about temperature. You're talking about heat index.
Oh. It got to 120 heat index one day.
Heat index has been into the 120s. It's triple digits just about every day. But green beans keep growing.
Ground is as dry as the Sahara Desert and hard as concrete.
It has rained today, and it rained late yesterday afternoon.
And it's still hard as a brick out there. Doesn't matter that it rained.
We got almost 3/4 of each of the two rains together, which
Woo.
for here, August usually is very dry. By the end of August, everything in the yard's dry. The grass is dead. If you had any kind of wet spot, it's dried up. You can't dig at all. The ground's so hard. And usually the garden is suffering pretty bad. We made some improvements this year. Our drip lines helped the main garden. I hope to add some to another little garden, because it's really helped. It's kept things alive. We've kept tomato plants growing through the hot heat. We've kept our green beans growing. Our peppers are just thriving because they're getting water and heat. We got all kinds of bell pepper and hot pepper. We got okra too, but it's wearing us out. It's not in the garden with a drip line.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkins is...
Pumpkin.
Oh, we got a huge pumpkin. We got 3 or 4 huge pumpkins, really. I gave somebody advice earlier in the year when they was growing pumpkins, and I should have followed my own advice. But I got so busy I hadn't got it done yet. They was growing really large pumpkins, and they got so big they couldn't pick them up. And I said, if you knew you was growing huge pumpkins, it'd been good to put something under it where you get your fingers under it where you can actually pick the thing up or get something under it. Well, I planted pumpkins. I planted jack-o'-lanterns, what I thought, and sugar pumpkins. I went by the other day and noticed the jack-o'-lanterns just keep getting bigger and bigger. So when I got home, I decided I'd read the pack and see what I actually planted, because I went through all kinds of pumpkin seeds trying to figure out which one to plant. And when I read the back of it, I realized I had planted a giant pumpkin. They're good for up to 200 pounds. So right now we got one bigger than a beach ball and 2 about the size of a beach ball. We're going to put something under them for too long, or we're going to have to roll them out of the garden when they get ready. They grow much bigger, they're going to be hard to pick up. That might take a me and the son deal.
I ain't doing it.
No.
I'd be doing good, just pick myself up.
Gardens should be slowing down. I do say gardens because we have 4. But we've actually had some really good luck with harvest this year, and I'm still working all 4 gardens. One of them's about to slow down, so I'm getting a little more time to do things, but the apples are ready, and the grapes are ready, the muscadines will be ready for too long. The peaches is 1 ounce, so I told her, I said, yeah, we'll slow down. But then in September, it'll get a little better. That's when we dig sweet potatoes and
I'm slowing down anyways.
peanuts, and now you're already on the slow mo. We still got a lot of stuff left to do, and it gets in the way of me watching other people's videos. I hate that because I don't have time. If I do have time, I'm usually doing something in the house or sleeping, because it's wearing me out keeping up with 4 gardens and working both my jobs and keeping the house, and gotta have time to sleep every once in a while.
Sleeping's overrated.
Yeah, you can do that when you're dead, right?
Yep. Yeah. I don't sleep much anyways. My sleeping patterns kind of go, woohoo!
I didn't make a video about it, but I did grind tomatoes again today. I've got enough tomato juice to make. I don't know what we'll make. I'll probably make succotash tomorrow. I'm looking for ready-made meals, the can. That's what I'm really wanting to put back instead of just tomato juice or tomato sauce. I want something that's ready to eat. It's a lot easier to just open the can, heat it up. Especially when there's one of us doing it, so that makes it easier on you. If you need something, you can actually go and open the can and don't have to cook. It ain't bad to prep stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in the world. I mean, it don't hurt to put a few things back. Some people put back a lot, some people don't.
You know, I was just thinking.
It don't hurt to have a few things on the back burner, though.
All the crazy things that we get ourselves into. Thinking back when we was kids, I don't remember us being so busy when I was growing up. I mean, we had gardens and we had jobs. Well, my parents had jobs. I played outside all the time.
You had people that got together and done things.
Well, I mean, it was nothing to go to a cousin's house and sit and talk for. I mean, I would go over to my cousin's house and my parents and her parents would talk and we'd play games or something. I mean, we would all play outside. We'd play. Our parents would play Dirty Board or 42 or something like that. And when we had game nights, they had game nights as adults. We would go to each other's houses and we kids would run all over Timbuktu and the parents would sit and talk and, like I said, play games and...
I like the stuff I was talking about. My family, when apples came in, we got together. The kids would help pick up apples, the adults peeled the apples and cut up the apples, and it was usually the women that cut them up and cooked them and froze them, but the men would help get them out of the yard and out of the tree because there was always big tall trees. And
ours was
beans,
hunting.
same way, you know, everybody broke beans. You went hunting or fishing. Me and my daddy would
yeah.
clean whatever it is outside, but as soon as you got it broke down enough, my mama would take it over in the sink and she would finish cleaning it up and cutting it up and putting it up. She'd always do the final cleaning, cutting, and the storing, however she wanted to do it.
My dad and my uncle and them would all run trot lines together and
But we worked as a team, what I'm saying.
they would skin and we'd have a fish fry. They'd run trot lines and do all that stuff and then we'd have a fish fry. Oh, so good.
Same way if you killed a deer, you came home, you had some backstrip material for supper, for breakfast or supper or whenever you got it. That was the next meal anyway.
I remember when I was a
backstrip.
kid though, we went to my granddaddy's house and
Squirrels was the next morning or that evening, whenever.
and my grandmother and grandfather had chickens and we had a chicken killing. You know, the men kind of cut their heads off and we kids played run around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Catch the headless chicken.
We played the game. Who could catch the headless chicken first?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, my mom and them, they plucked the chicken and we had chicken for supper.
Yeah, they worked as a team.
Yep.
Everybody's so busy these days. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's got responsibilities. And
Yeah, but I mean, my parents still worked. My parents had jobs. We played sports.
mm-hmm.
But the sports wasn't all the time. I mean, we played basketball basically through Christmas. Then we'd play softball.
Mm-hmm.
And then summer we'd play softball.
You didn't practice all week.
Well, we didn't practice all the time either. No, we practiced during school.
Mm-hmm.
When we come home, we all practiced, but it was in our own individual yards. And everybody I knew had a basketball goal in the yard. And we would shoot hoops, and we'd go to each other's houses and play. And
It's like our son. He's 17. Fixing to be 18 in a few months. It's amazing. Our youngest is almost grown.
Our baby will be an adult in a few months.
He's still going to high school, and he works 2 part-time jobs. He works 6 days a week.
Yep.
And he likes it.
I keep telling him to enjoy it while he has a
loves
chance
to work and make money.
Well, he does actually enjoy his job.
He has 2 good jobs.
He's a maintenance guy for the local motel. Yeah, 17-year-old maintenance man. But I guess that's what you get when you have he's OSHA certified, and he has all kinds of, he goes to tech school for half a day, and high school the second half of the day, and so he's already he's almost done with an industrial maintenance degree. He's only got this semester? Next semester.
He's got all next semester and a little bit of summertime.
Yeah, but it's a 2-year degree.
Yeah.
And he's over halfway. He's a little over halfway through a 2-year industrial maintenance degree, which is phenomenal to me.
Yeah. He can go to work within a month or 2 after high school. He'd be able to get a...
Yeah, I think he said something about it'd take to July for him to finish up the credit hours just because of COVID hitting and throwing everything off, and it cut into his...
That sickness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it did. They closed school. It was because school got closed, so his hours, because his degree is hour based. He had to do so many hours, and with all the school closures, his hours got cut down, so he has to. That's the reason he's going to have to go a couple extra months to get all the hours required to finish that degree.
Your daughter's got a baby, so that ties her up. She works, and son-in-law works, and everybody's just busy.
Her son's girlfriend, she works all the time.
My parents are, one lives in one city and the other lives in another city, so your parents don't garden or don't do any preserving, or neither one of my mama still does some, I think, but we're kind of on our own here.
I miss the times when things were slower. And it didn't feel like you had to do so much. When people did sit on the porch and do nothing but talk and hang out and visit.
You know, wonder if ain't somebody outside. Said, you know, somebody's coming to see you, the dog's throwing a fit outside.
It's probably somebody walking by.
I know. It's just funny. My nose keeps bothering me. The dog's barking. I'm like, that old saying might be true. Somebody knocks on the door here in a minute. Well, no. I doubt it this time of night, but we was going to the porch setting because we just let it get too long and it never did cool off either. So we normally been sitting on the porch watching everything go by. And it's supposed to be cool this week. They said we was in a cold. We're gonna have a cold front come through.
Missed it.
The other day it stayed in the 80s. That's a cold front. So the upper 90s, the lower 80s is really a cold front. It was a blessing. I mowed the grass without being wringing wet with sweat. There's so much to do now. When you got more land, you got more responsibilities too. We've got a lot of grass.
Yep.
We got a lot of trees in the middle of grass, so, and gardens and vines and stuff you got to go around, so it takes longer to mow. It really irritates my son because I keep planting stuff.
Well, you know, it's a little irritating to try to run circles around trees that are planted 6 foot apart, and you can barely get the mower between the 2 trees. And then you have to dodge this thing and that thing, and
Ain't got none too close together. I tried to put them in rows, you know, kind of where you could run down one side or the other, but most everything's at least 8 or 10 feet apart.
Sure. Cross the ditch maybe, but over here on this side of the ditch, that's the house side of the ditch, it's easier to push mow that yard because you can't hardly get the ride mower around all the stuff in the yard. Because we've got garden boxes, bushes, and vines, and trellises, and gazebos, and gardens, and solar panels. I mean, it's a maze.
It's our food forest. You can actually go forage in our yard during the summer and eat. It's a special time, I guess, to me, when me and my son or daughter can walk around the yard and eat from the yard. Pull berries or grapes or apples or...
He hasn't had any help from me this year. Last year I was outside. I helped him. I helped him pull weeds. I helped him plant the garden. I helped do everything.
You realize how much fun it was.
And, well, I kind of got this kick. I could not stand the weeds to grow in the garden, and I was out there every day pulling weeds.
She had a full-time job.
And I couldn't keep up, of course.
And
then this year, I don't know. I don't know if it's the FND raining havoc on my head, or just the chaos of the way my mind functions now. Could be menopause, because menopause does change a person's personality, I think. I'm beginning to seriously believe that, because last year I went from wanting to help, wanting to be in the yard, wanting to be active, doing everything, to this year even looking outside and seeing, even though I know that's a tomato plant and that's a green bean trellis and food is coming out of that, when I look outside and see the garden, I see a mess. I see chaos. I see something that just needs to be plowed down and done away with. And then it's really just, it drives me nuts to go outside because of all the stuff in our yard.
This yard would drive you crazy if you liked it flat and smooth and clean.
I used to walk outside and just be in awe of all the stuff we had growing, and I mean, we're talking just last summer.
Yep.
And in the space of 12 months, I've gone from just enjoying and being in awe of all the things our yard can grow to looking outside and thinking, do we have to have all this stuff in the yard? First, like, what are you talking about? Our yard's not. I said, our yard is a total disaster zone. Honey, no, that's the garden. I said, that's what I'm talking about. It's stuff is everywhere. I can't hardly stand to go outside and look at our yard now. And then it's yeah. When your mind starts doing its own thing, it's hard.
It's just chaos to you.
It is. It's utter chaos. When I look outside, I don't see vegetables. I don't see a way to feed ourselves. I see chaos. I see, well, it's so chaotic that my mind's like, nah, not dealing with that. It will literally put me in a complete system shutdown to spend time in our yard.
I hope to get her out for the sorghum press.
Yeah, maybe.
I've got the sorghum press in what we call the man cave. Slowly making it in my machine shop, but that way we can turn the air conditioner on and I can hopefully get her to come over and help some part of it.
As long as it's organized.
I don't know if you can call that place organized. It is a man cave, so it's better than the garden. There ain't that many things in the room.
I told Brett I
It's a
needed
poor
to.
man's machine
I need
shop.
to find me one of them people that can organize a tiny house, because our house is small, and take all this stuff that's in here and find somewhere to hide it out of my sight.
They'd have a mental breakdown.
I think I'm about to myself, because of all the stuff. And then he goes, well, you know, you can work on that. I said, honey, do you want to keep your stuff? Because if I work on it, it'll go in the garbage. Because I don't want to see it anymore. I would throw it all away. And it's stuff we actually need. But I'm so tired of all the stuff. I'd throw it all away. I'm still waiting for this portion of the chaos to pass. And I'm really hoping it does.
You're looking
For
forward
your
to,
sanity.
you're looking forward to like October when the yard dies and all the gardens go down and
Only if it all gets cleaned up.
Well, you might have to jump in on that one. 'Cause that's gonna take a while. I'm slowly planting cover crops as I get spots. I'm a little behind, but I'm slowly getting there. There'll be a lot of green still, but it will be smaller. Won't be growing up trellises or up fence bars. I did make a couple of videos this weekend. We've got one on there, cucumbers. I covered the ones in that raised bed. I didn't cover the one on the porch. We actually have a cucumber on the porch too. It grows in the shade of the tree next to the house. Grows up fence wire and goes up on the edge of the porch. It's actually trying to attach to the siding at the top of the porch.
Yes.
But it makes really huge leaves and makes good cucumbers. It don't make a lot of them, but it's a really good looking plant.
Oh.
It kind of blocks the view from one side of the porch. Kind of gives her some camouflage. Or she can't see everything in the yard again.
It makes you claustrophobic. The paths I used to have around the house, I no longer have because all the bushes and stuff is grown into this jungle vibe.
Yeah. Your high bush cranberries has taken over out there, and the hazelnut trees has took over the front yard. I don't want to cut them because one of them actually does have hazelnuts, and the other one has one or two. So we're trying to wait till the fall to, after everything gets off them, we'll cut them and shape them back down. I just didn't want to cut too much right now. Didn't want to cut it off in the spring because they was loaded with the blossoms on, or the blooms on them. But everything's coming due in August and September.
Good. And then maybe by October or November, you can go. Bye bye.
I dread it.
Like I said,
We got
last year I loved every second of it. I loved every minute of it. And this year, I don't even want to go outside and look at it.
We're going to get the lawnmower trailer and the lawnmower out for you. That way you can haul sweet potatoes. I kept planting sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
We should have a bunch of sweet potatoes.
Something we don't eat a lot of. We
should, but we don't.
I only like them fried, so I mean, I don't know. I'm a texture person, and I can't stand the baked. I want them fried. If I'm gonna have sweet potatoes, they gotta be fried. Grease just gives them flavor. Just saying.
You've got to take all that good about it and coat it in grease, huh?
Yep.
Too much good is just too bad, ain't it?
Well,
Got to have a little bad.
we are Southern. If you don't have grease, you ain't Southern cooking, that's for sure. You can't cook Southern without some grease.
Well, we have upgraded since we was kids. My mama cooked everything with shortening.
I was gonna say mine cooked with lard. You got a bucket of lard, and you.
We Crisco'd everything, or whatever the generic brand does, Better Value or.
Did y'all have the grease pan?
Oh yeah.
You have this little. My dad had like a little tin can about this big around, and it had like a strainer, and he'd pour his grease over it, and then you'd take the little strainer out, and all you had clean grease.
She had an empty Crisco can, or
oh, y'all really old school it.
Generic brand can anyway. You know what I'm talking about? The solid shortening can. When it got empty, she kept an extra one, and she would cool her grease off. When it got cool enough, it wouldn't hurt the can. She'd pour it in that old can, pop the top of it. So
You used it until it was like disgusting.
You reused it and reused it till you got down to all the crumbs and all the junk in the bottom, and then you
Yeah.
threw it away.
Well, see, that was what the little strainer on top of my daddy's was.
Uh-huh.
It collected all the crumbs, so when every time you used it, you just knocked the crumbs off. And
I do like my grandmother, which aggravates you. She always used a coffee cup.
yes, it aggravates me when there's 4 coffee cups of grease on the stove. That's very aggravating.
But she always used a coffee cup. She kept her bacon grease or her meat grease, as she called it, on the stove. When she needed a little bit of it, she'd scoop it out and use it. If she had a little extra, she'd pour it back in there.
You drive me crazy with that.
That's flavor.
It's whatever.
Your
It's not
pot
very
that you
nice.
deep fry in drives me crazy because it keeps the crumbs in the bottom.
We strain every once in a while.
I do. You don't. That's the point.
I don't cook anymore. You do all the cooking.
I can't stand all that junk in the bottom.
Yeah, well, you do all the cooking.
That's where it gets strained in the coffee cups or a big bowl or something occasionally and gets cleaned.
Oh.
I don't like all the extra flavor bits floating around the bottom. Some people let it go and go. I can't do that. If it's solid grease and you pour it up and put a top on it and it's got crumbs in the bottom, that's a little different. But
I just,
you don't see it, I guess.
yeah. We've rambled long enough.
Yeah, we
I mean,
rambled
come
way
on.
too long.
Time to get off of here.
Time to go. Hope y'all have a good week. We're done jawing, I guess.
Yeah.
God bless.
Night.